Tony here for Sprint 2. I don't have the sprint done, so basically just taking a 0 on this one. Life kind of ran into me this week. Uh, Also, sorry for not being there on Tuesday. I was sick this weekend, and I didn't it started to come back during the week, so that's part of the reason why I'm making this video, is so you don't think I'm dead. Um, so yeah. Also, status update on project and demo planning. So yeah, just to show you that I have not done nothing on the collision stuff. I have started implementing the pattern uh, visitor. I can't remember what the pattern's called now, but yeah, the visitor pattern thing. Uh, yeah, got the steps in there. I mean, it doesn't really work yet, so I mean, I don't really have enough to show. I'm sorry. Yeah, not super happy with myself on that front, but it is what it is. I can't change that I'm out of time. So, right, where, right, planning. So I'm going to include this planning document. This is just a basic, first pass on planning the demo game. Right here, just like a couple pages of so like describing like what I want the first two, like the two levels that I was planning on designing be. I mean they're already pretty much designed. I just need to like put finish like the game loop, because the game loop doesn't quite work yet with the player dying and respawning and stuff as I would like. And these are like things I want in the scene. Anything that's marked planned will be is not in yet and still needs to be completely implemented, or is not in at all and needs to be implemented, such as like some extra scenery buildings that collide with the player and bullets, so that you can kind of hide behind stuff. And of course, terrain, which we'll be working on in a couple weeks, I believe. Right. So 2D objects will be UI stuff, and there really should be like a menu here. I forgot to put it. Menu for saving and loading. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I'll need a menu for saving and loading. That's one of the things I want to have, because otherwise, what's the point of having a saving and loading system if you don't have some sort of menu to save and load different saves? I mean, I suppose I could do it by keys, but that's stupid. So I'm not gonna do that. But that's definitely like something to do after I've actually got a basic version of it working. So later down the line. And of course, so just a section on managers, such a and big thing UI manager / HUD manager thing that I haven't put that in yet. That will actually manage these things. Really, that's more for like the menu. Like this other stuff could easily just be on its own, and it's not that big a deal. But like the menu is definitely gonna need like some sort of manager to deal with managing that. So I figured just have one HUD manager so that it's nice and centralized, and we can, because it's enough that could be centralized in one place. Well, there might be an independent menu manager once we get down the line for that, but it shouldn't be too much for one. Anyway, so I already have these two managers: player enemy manager. Level manager is something that I plan to take, because currently the enemy manager just does the level swapping, which isn't that great. I'd rather have that in its own manager. So that's just something I stuck in there for something that I want to do. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I wanted to put in like turret enemies, which would basically just be static enemies, except that they wouldn't have a body. That I was gonna take out the turret and make it have a different turret model. So it's just the turret, probably just the turret off the tank, and then so it doesn't render the body. It's just the turret that's like stuck in the ground. Yeah, which would kind of add a like I feel like that would add a little bit of a variety because when if some of the enemies are chasing you and some of them are not, it will kind of break up the combat a little bit. Especially once I put in some buildings to hide behind, as and of course the terrain, which will sort of I assume will have it will stop bullets and have like some sort of collision mesh or something. I don't know. That's in a few weeks. So yeah, that's the that document. So that'll be included in the folder if you want to look at more in depth. Uh, right. So the final project, which I didn't include last week because I thought us just talking about it in class was fine, but no, I should have at least talked about it. Uh, Sorry for not having UML this week. Next week, again, I was gonna have the saving. I was gonna have a serialization demo in a separate project. That's that's what I think I'm gonna do. Like if I have time, I'll put it into the general like the main project. But yeah, that's not done quite yet, and hopefully I can have a UML by that point as well, which would probably just be more limited to the engine side of things rather than the serialization part. Because the serialization wouldn't really be a big deal in the UML. It's more the other stuff that needs to be UML'd. So yeah, anyway, that's plans for final project. Probably mention that it's going to be my current plan is to have it like an Exable, except that it won't be included in the like game object won't inherit from it because you may have. I made this decision because like the user may want to have like a manager that is not a game object. This manager is a game object. Not a good example, but let's say like the player manager, which is not a game object because it doesn't need all that fancy stuff like updates and whatnot, and all the fluff behind the game object. But you may want to save it because it might have information that you want. Like it might like later this will probably have a little bit more information on the player rather than just managing player a pointer to the player's tank object. Um, yeah, and especially like factories and stuff, because currently my enemy factory has the all the pointers to the like pointers or references to all the enemies. Well, actually, they're pointers, different pointers, including the live ones, so that it'll delete them when the if the scene gets shut down prematurely. So yeah, that's that's the reason why you might want to have it not part of a game object because then you can tack it onto anything. Yeah. Anyway, not that big a deal. Uh, so basically, the registration and deregistration for it will work similarly to Exables in that you register for it, but it'll be more towards with inputable because you'll register for specific like data like data types. Like you'll essentially be telling it like giving it like some sort of like raw information. Like the first iteration will probably just be you'll give it a struct of X size, and then it will take that um like it'll take in it'll it'll know, like, you'll be telling it what size your array or struct will be. I'm not sure which way I want to go with that. And you're basically just going to give it raw data of some type, and it'll take that and it will convert it. It'll serialize it into binary, and it'll store it in a way that in like probably in its own like list structure, which will then be put into the like an actual bin file at the like when the game exits, or at like certain points when it saves. Like when you hit the save button, it'll essentially take all the data that's collected up to that point from the all the registration by the different objects, right? And then it will shove that into a file when you tell it to save at a specific point. And then that data will then be saved. So you can load it at a later date, whether that be after you close the game and reopen it, or immediately after that, like if you're testing it for whatever reason. Uh, so yeah, that's how I'm well, planning for the player or the saving to work. You'll probably have some sort of menu to do that, and on the wish list is like a basic text editor and whatnot to name your saves, have multiple saves, and yeah, potentially like a profile that you would have the saves under. I've got some plans. I've got some plans for sure of taking it further than just saving things. But yeah, if that's not enough, which I assume it will not be, then I've been looking into Fmod to make a basic sound system. I have done a lot less research into that than I have into saving serialization. So I'll probably try to get some more research on that for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I think I've rambled on way too long. So I'm just gonna leave it here, and yeah, if you have any more questions on my personal project, my plan for it, next week I'll have a lot more tangible stuff to show you. Hopefully a great serialization demo is the first thing, and preferably a UML diagram of my system once I create a bunch of classes like as like a skeleton to put into the UML diagram. Yeah, anyway, see you in class.